morning, students.
Good morning,
Good morning, Ma'am.
Alright, before anything else, may I request Miss Nicelyn Carpio to lead the prayer for today?
Let us bow our head and pray. As we gathered here in your harbor of your safety, we thank you for fellowship and family. We ask that you will strengthen us, restore us, and inspire us with your love. Lord, would you fill us with your peace so that as we journey onwards, we would pour out of your love and grace to others. We ask that our souls would catch the wind of your Spirit so that we will take your promises to all the earth. Amen.
Okay, good morning, class.
Good morning, Ma'am.
Good morning, Ma'am.
Good morning, Ma'am.
Good morning, class. Good morning, beautiful students.
Good morning, Ma'am.
Good morning, Ma'am.
Good morning, Ma'am.
Perfect. That's energy what I'm waiting for. Okay, how's your weekend? How's your weekend, everyone?
A little bit stressed, Ma'am, but I can manage.
Oh, okay. You know what? I feel you. Both students and teachers are stressed in this situation, but we need to continue for ourselves and for our future, especially the students' mental health and education. This is for everyone. If you have any problem, don't hesitate to message me, okay?
Yes, Ma'am.
Yes, Ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am. We love you.
Love you too, class. So, how about the others?
My weekend is good, but sometimes not.
Why? Why, Miss Alfaro?
Ma'am, because of Jowa.
Yes, Ma'am. That's right.
Hey, stop, guys. No, no, Ma'am. Don't listen to them. Just listen to me.
Oh, Cherry, huh? Is that true? How's your monstery with your boyfriend?
Bye, Ma'am. I enjoy. Haha. Char.
Oh, hope all.
Sana all.
Sana all.
Okay, that's enough. How about Nisili? How's your grind every day? I know you have Axie. Hope all.
Bigyan mo naman unit scholar, Mama. I'm free 24/7.
Yeah, me too.
Me three. Just kidding. Okay, let's proceed, guys. I have here some rules and class management. Listen, class. For number one, class management, respect everyone's privacy. What's shared in the group should stay in the group. Number two, class management, be kind and courteous. Always be kind and courteous for everyone, okay? And number three, let's treat everyone with respect. No bullying, inappropriate words, and malicious act. And last, be responsible as always, okay? Remember that. Mute your audios except if you will answer or ask questions
And always turn on your cameras.
Do you agree in that, Prose?
Yes, ma'am.
Alright, for your attendance, just say Darna or ooh. Please cooperate, students. Let's start with Miss Alvaro Cherry. Cherry, here's the stone.
Darna!
Oh, Darna, you're such a Darna. Careful, Naceline. Ooh, girl. Okay, Galapon Erica.
Oh, look.
Oh, you enjoy class, huh? Very good. You're complete today as Darna and Ooh girls. Just kidding. Do you remember the last topic that we discussed? Last meeting? Anyone? Okay, yes, Miss Erica?
Our topic that we discussed last meeting is all about main types of poetry.
Thank you. What are the main types of poetry? Yes, Miss Cherry.
Narrative poetry, dramatic poetry, and lyric poetry.
What is narrative poetry?
Narrative poetry tells stories through verse, like a novel or a short story. A narrative poem has a plot, characters, and setting.
What is dramatic poetry?
Dramatic poetry, also known as dramatic verse or verse drama, is a written work that both tells a story and connects the reader to an audience through emotions or behavior.
Last, what is lyric poetry? Yes, Miss Cherry.
It is a combination of lyric and poetry where a piece of poetry is written as a lyric.
Thank you for your answer. It looks you understand and learn.
For our objectives, at the end of the lesson, the students will be able to: number 1, define the prose. Number 2, identify common types of prose used for the given task. And number 3, construct at least one common types of prose.
Okay, it's time for a game. This game is picnition, which means picture recognition. I will show the picture, then identify what is on the picture. Let's proceed to the game. So the first one is Galapon Erica, please answer.
It's either a diary or narrative.
Yes, it is a diary by Anne Frank, the diary of Anne Frank. So next, Miss Carpio.
It's either biography or narrative.
Okay, thank you. This picture is the life of Frederick Douglass. Then the last picture, Miss Alfaro.
Snow White, ma'am.
Okay, that's our child memory story. Before we proceed to the main discussion, based on the game or activity earlier, do you have any idea what is our topic for today? Yes, Miss Erica.
It's either diary or journal, Mom.
Okay, Miss Sherry.
Non-fictional and fictional prose, ma'am.
Mom, I guess it is about prose.
Thank you for your answer. Your answers are closely related to our topic. So our main topic for today is all about common types of prose. Class, do you have any idea what are those common types of prose? Okay, before I discuss that, let us first know what is prose. What is prose? Prose is verbal or written language that follows the natural flow of speech. It is the most common form of writing, used in both fiction and non-fiction. Prose comes from the Latin prosa oratio, meaning straightforward. Prose refers to any written work that follows a basic grammatical structure. Think words and phrases arranged into sentences and paragraphs. This stands out from works of poetry which follow a metrical structure. Think lines and stanzas. Prose simply means language that follows the natural patterns found in everyday speech. Are you guys with me? Okay, let us proceed to the importance of prose. In literature, the basic purpose of prose in writing is to convey an idea, deliver information, or tell a story. It is the way a writer fulfills her basic promise to a reader to deliver a story with characters, setting, conflict, a plot, and a final payoff. Each writer has their own way of using language, called a writer's voice. Using this literary device in different ways helps writers craft and show off this voice. So let us proceed to the difference between prose and poetry. Here are the unique differences between prose and poetry. Prose follows natural patterns or speech and communication. It has a grammatical structure with sentences and paragraphs, and it uses everyday language. Sentences and thoughts continue across lines. Poetry. Poetry is traditional poetry has deliberate patterns such as rhythm and rhyme. Many poems have formal, metrical structures, repeating patterns of beats. Incorporates more figurative language. Poems visually stand out on a page with narrow columns, varying line, lengths, and more white space on a page than prose. Deliberate line breaks. So, what are the common types of prose? Non-fictional prose, fictional prose, prose poetry, and heroic prose. Okay, next, non-fictional prose. Non-fictional prose writings are pieces that are written that contain mostly facts or true events, but may contain pieces of fictional information for literary purposes. Many memoirs can be described as non-fictional prose because The writers often include fictional information to make their life stories more interesting for the readers. Examples: memoir, autobiography, biography, narrative, journal, and so let us watch again video presentation about non-fictional prose.
I am from the south side of Chicago. That tells you as much about me as you need to know. It was a typical working class community. Some good music, some good barbecue, some good times. She's just a girl and she's on fire. So little of who I am happened in those 8 years. So much more of who I was happened before. In high school, your guidance counselor didn't see in you what you saw in yourself. Yeah. She decided I was reaching too high. How did you, as a black woman, persevere? We can't afford to wait for the world to be equal to start feeling seen. I feel like I gotta share with you all that the energy that's out there is much better than what we see. How's everybody doing? This girl is on fire! As my mother would say, Michelle and Barack Obama aren't special. There are millions of Michelle and Barack Obamas all over the world. If we can open up a little bit more to each other and share our stories, that's what breaks down barriers. Wow.
I am becoming a strong, confident, fierce girl who realizes that I have the power to change the world.
This is totally me, unplugged for the first time.
Fictional prose is writing that is entirely made up by the authors, such as in short stories or in novels. Examples: J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter series or Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. Let us watch the video about fictional prose.
I have some questions for you, Professor. I have some questions for you, Professor. I know he's working under your orders.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Fiction and non-fiction. Material can either be fiction or non-fiction. This includes books, films, TV shows or plays. Fiction. Fiction refers to plot, settings and characters created from the imagination. We read or watch this type of material for fun. For example, a book about a cat that talks. We know this can't be real and it's created from the imagination, and the book is there to read for fun. Therefore, it's fiction. Another example is a cartoon on TV. Cartoons generally have plot settings and characters created from the imagination, and we enjoy watching them. Non-fiction. Non-fiction refers to factual stories that are based on real people and true events. We read or watch this material for information. For example, a book about animal life cycle. Another example is a documentary on TV. So both these examples are likely to have facts and true information. Therefore, it's non-fiction. It can sometimes be hard to differentiate whether something is fiction or non-fiction. Therefore, a simple way to remember is, if the material has true information and is factual, then it's non-fiction. If the material has information that isn't true or is made up, then it's likely to be fiction.
Prose poetry. Prose in poetry refers to works that include large amounts of poetic devices such as imagery, alliteration, and rhythm, but are still written in a straightforward manner rather than in verse form. Examples: take a look at the following excerpt from Campbell McGrath's apply titled The Prose Poem. On the map, it is precise and rectilinear as chessboard, though driving past you would hardly notice it. This boundary line or margin, a shallow swale that cups a simple trickle of water, less real than rivulet, more gully than dell, a tangled ditch grown up throughout with a fearsome assortment of wild flowers and bracken. There is no bench, though here and there a weathered post asserts a former claim. Strands of fallen wire taken by this dust to the left, a cornfield carries into the distance, dips and rises to the blue sky, a rolling plain of green and healthy plants aligned in close order, row upon row upon row. A little history. Prose poetry can be traced back to the haibun, a Japanese form of prose poetry seen during the 17th century. Western prose poetry emerged in the early 19th century as a rebellion against traditional poetic structures. Poets such as Aloysius, Bertrand, Charles Baudelaire, Arthur Rimbaud, and Stephen Mallarmé used prose poetry as a way to define the conventions of the day. Throughout the 19th century, poets continued to embrace the form. Some of the most well-known poets to write in prose include Hans Christian Andersen, Rainer Maria Rilke, Edgar Allan Poe, Walt Whitman, H.P. Lovecraft, and Gertrude Stein. The new form carried into the 20th century with American poets writing prose poetry. In the 1950s and 60s, including Allen Ginsberg, Bob Dylan, Jack Kerouac, William S. Burroughs, and Robert Bly, to name a few, and Charles Simic won the Pulitzer Prize for his 1989 collection, The World Doesn't End, which included prose poems. However, prose poetry was not embraced by all. T.S. Eliot opposed prose poetry, arguing it lacked the rhythm and musical patterns of verse. So why write prose poetry? Why would a poet favor sentences and paragraphs over the traditional structure of verses and stanzas? What do you think? It depends on the poem and the poet. Your creative vision for a poem might involve a big block of text that is dense rather than wispier structure of lines and stanzas. Your poem might tell an abstract story that you feel reads better in paragraphs as opposed to verse. Paragraphs result in a different flow than lines and stanzas, and the prose structure might provide the reader with a better feel for the rhythm of your poem. So here's the video presentation of prose poetry.
In the absence of the extraordinary, being in awe requires the effort of noticing. On an ordinary sunny day, I walked a familiar shaded path, and I did my best to notice the shimmer of light on the water, so bright it stuns the eyes, hinting at the waves on the surface. The wind, soft and cool, so gentle with the quivering leaves. But then again, the wind, so playful with the grasses and flowers who dance and sway, leaning together to whisper summer secrets. The brook, stumbling over stones, burbling all the while, content to keep its own company. The winding road, its blind corners rounded by small cars, by family vans, by boats returning from the lake, by couples and families and lone adventurers. Carefree laughs drifting down the river, belonging to strangers I will never know, each only a person, no more and no less. Noticing the smallness of the rocks that crunch under my sneakers, the bigness of the trees reaching up to the sky, the middleness of my own size, how I can feel at one moment enormous and the next microscopic. Sunlight, softened by leaves, like the glow of a flashlight under a blanket. The utmost delicacy of living things and their not quite stillness, like a semicolon, a pause. And 100 other sensations tripping their way to the front of my mind now that my attention is up for grabs. This is the start of my summer, warm and bright and full of awe.
Heroic prose. Heroic prose pieces are written or oral stories that follow the traditional structure used by oral expressionists. Example: Homer's The Iliad and the Odyssey. Both of these pieces include such structures as an invocation to the muses of epithets that are used in oral storytelling. Let us watch the video of mythical warrior Finn McCool. It is one of the examples of heroic prose.
Finn McCool and the Giant's Causeway. The Giant's Causeway is a bridge of rocks between Ireland and Scotland. Most of the Giant's Causeway is under the sea. So, how did it get its name? Well, according to an Irish legend, a powerful giant called Finn McCool built the causeway. Once there were two giants. Finn McCool lived with his wife in Ireland. Ben and Donna lived across the sea in Scotland. They were enemies. However, they couldn't cross the sea to fight each other. One day, Finn had an idea. He threw rocks into the sea and made a bridge. After this, he was very tired, so he went to sleep. Over the sea, in Scotland, Ben and Donna started running across the bridge. Finn's wife tried to wake her husband, but she couldn't. She decided to dress him in baby's clothes. When Ben and Donna arrived, he saw the sleeping baby. Then he imagined the huge size of the father and was terrified. He ran back home over the causeway. As he ran, he pulled up the rocks to stop Finn following him to Scotland. Scientists don't believe the Giant's Causeway is the result of a story like this. They believe a volcanic eruption created the causeway over 50 million years ago. The boiling lava pushed up through the ground and cooled into the shapes we see today.
So for the group activity, construct at least one common types of prose. It can be handwritten, word file, video presentation, role-playing, movie, story, etc. It depends on you. Be creative and enjoy. To be submitted on December 17, 2021. Alright, let us have a recap on what we discussed earlier. Are you with me? Are you all with me? What is prose? Yes, Miss Erica?
This is a literary device referring to writing that is structured in grammatical way, with words, the phrases that build sentences and paragraphs.
Very good. So, what is importance and purpose of prose?
The basic purpose of prose in writing is to convey an idea, deliver information, or tell a story. It is a way a writer fulfills her basic promise to a reader to deliver a story with character, setting, conflict, a plot, and the final payoff.
What are the difference between prose and poetry? Please answer Miss Naiceline Carpio.
Prose follows a natural patterns of speech and communication and has a grammatical structure with sentences and paragraphs, while the poetry has deliberate patterns such as rhythm and rhyme.
What are the common types of prose? Yes, Miss Erica Galapon?
Non-fictional, fictional, prose poetry, and heroic.
Very good. How about what is non-fictional prose?
Non-fictional prose writing are pieces that are written that contain mostly fact but may contain pieces of fictional information for literary purposes.
How about fictional prose?
Fictional prose is writing that is entirely made up by the authors, such as in short stories or in novels.
What is prose poetry? Miss Galapon.
Prose is poetry refers to the work that includes large amounts of poetic devices, such as imagery, alliteration, rhythm, but are still written in a straightforward manner rather than in verse form.
Last question. What is heroic prose?
Heroic prose pieces are written or oral stories that follow the traditional structure used by the oral expressionists.
Alright, very good. It looks all of you in the class are listening. We will have a game activities.
Purpose of prose in writing is to convey an idea, deliver information, or tell a story. True or false? Anyone?
Can I
Me,
answer,
ma'am.
ma'am?
Okay.
Yes. What's your name? Who wants to
Me, ma'am.
answer? Okay, Miss Alvaro.
True.
Let's see. Yes, correct. Okay, next. Fictional prose is writing that is entirely made up by the authors, such as in short stories or in novels. True or false?
Me, ma'am. Permission to answer. Ma'am,
Go
it's
on.
true.
Correct. Next, prose comes from the Latin prosa, oratio, meaning straightforward. Is it true or false?
Can I answer, ma'am?
Yes, Miss Galapon.
It's true, ma'am.
Very good. Correct. Next, fictional prose writings are pieces that are written that contain mostly facts. Is it true or false?
Can I answer, ma'am?
Okay, go.
False.
Let's see. Correct. Prose is verbal or written language that follows the natural flow of speech. Is it true or false?
Can I answer, ma'am?
Yes.
I think, ma'am, it's false.
Okay, that's correct. The basic purpose of prose in writing is to convey an idea, deliver information, or tell a story.
Can I answer, ma'am?
Yes.
I think, ma'am, it's true.
For your individual activity, construct at least one main types of poetry to be submitted until tomorrow. I will send the link of Google Drive where you can submit it by tomorrow, okay? Is that all clear? Do you understand? Are you sure? Are you really sure? Okay. Any questions, clarifications, students? Okay. For your assignment, answer the following questions for the next lesson. This is guided for your next lesson, okay? Number 1, what is drama? Number 2, what is the importance of drama? And number 3, explain your insight about drama. Before I end this meeting, I have last question for today's lesson. Do you ever write prose poetry? Have you ever written it? Would you be willing to experiment with it? Share your thoughts. All of you will answer this question, okay?
So way back on my high school days, my teacher told us to write a prose or poetry. And I can say that my experience on it is amazing because writing a prose or even poetry, you are being a creative and you're sharing your thoughts and ideas through words that you write on your works. And writing a poetry or even prose, it makes us the reveal our thoughts about something or anything, and we want to share it with other people who will read our masterpiece.
My answer is I didn't do any write prose poetry, but I love to experiment and I'm willing to share my thought. I want to create prose poetry because I love poetry.
Okay, that's all for today. Thank you for your listening and participation. I hope you learned today. See you all next week. Keep safe. Thank you, everyone, and have a nice day.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Goodbye.